Hey scholars, I just wanted to take a quick minute to uh, update you on things going into the next week. First, I want to thank you for your feedback on the midpoint course surveys. I know they were a little past midpoint given the extended spring break and um, this weird new situation we all find ourselves in with COVID-19. But I really genuinely wanted to get your feedback on how things are working and or not working for you so far so that we can really power through the second half of the semester in a way that works well for everyone. So I really relish the chance to see how the class feels to you from the student side. So again, thank you. I want to take a minute to go over a few patterns I noticed about your feedback in terms of what's working well and what needs a bit of alteration moving forward. So first of all, it sounds like for the most part we are enjoying the discussion boards, especially the reading boards and the contemporary connections boards. The engaging scholarship boards are never quite as popular, but I will explain in just a minute why I want to keep those alternating and why I think it will be beneficial for you. Just as a note, last year when I taught this class, a different version of the class, I initially had it so that every week we would do a reading log, so you didn't see other people's thoughts on the boards. You would do that as sort of an individual journal that I commented on only. And then I had two discussion boards every week, both the scholarly article and the contemporary connection, and that was very unpopular. People did it, but that was the universal thing I saw in the course survey at midpoint in that last iteration of the class. And so that is where we got our alternating format now. So in the second half of that semester, I changed it and we just did one discussion board every week, and we moved into the format you are familiar with now, where you have discussion with your peers about the reading, which seems to help. So the other thing that I heard fairly universally was that the quizzes were helpful, but they would be more useful if at least partially they were multiple choice. So a lot of you mentioned that you feel like you're maybe pulling straight from the instructor's notes. While it is helpful to have some level of memorization or just going straight back to what I said, that was not my goal with the quizzes. So what I will do is adjust the quizzes for the next few modules so that the content that comes straight from the notes is multiple choice. So that's reviewed via more of a spot check. But I do want to keep the question that you have every week where I give you a chance to look at one of the helpful resources and talk about its advantages or disadvantages and what you thought of it. The reason for that is that I want to incentivize you to consider using the sources we've already talked about for your upcoming research paper. So ideally, especially during this really stressful period, you won't have to start from square one to find your scholarly and popular sources for the upcoming research argument. Instead, if you go back, you'll notice hopefully that the course is specifically designed so that you can pull from the previous discussion boards and modules that you've already done a lot of thinking about um, as you're looking for your sources. So for instance, if you choose to write on slave narratives, we have already talked about a couple of different scholarly articles. We've already looked at a few potential resources for walking you through how that relates to contemporary culture. So you've got a wide range of popular and scholarly sources in all of the modules that you could potentially pull from. Now, that said, I will walk you through how to navigate the Butler Library databases to find new research that I haven't specifically curated for you. But please feel free, especially since we're in this weird, unprecedented time where you may have a completely different schedule that doesn't allow for a ton of brand new research time, please feel free to go back to what we have talked about already and take a second look at some of those sources. Okay, so just as a quick recap, the things that will be changing: more multiple choice options in the quizzes. I'm going to keep up with the weekly video updates as opposed to the long emails because that sounds like it's working better. And I'm also going to be really specific in my essay feedback to you. So I've kept it fairly general for the first essay. The second essay we are just coming to, obviously, and you may notice that I am still working on getting you commentary for that. So I'm trying to be really specific so that along with the rubric, you've got a lot of local commentary that ties into it. I didn't get a lot of questions after the first round of feedback, So I sort of assumed that it was all clear, but that's not always the case. So I'm going to try to be as specific as possible with this round. So I hope all of this will help, and please feel free to email me if you want to have a one-on-one Zoom conference, whether it's to talk about ideas for the upcoming research paper after we've introduced that, or if you just have something going on in your life that you want to chat about. If you need any additional support, please let me know. My goal with all of my classes as we move into this odd second half of the semester is to be flexible to the extent that I can. Obviously, when we get closer to finals week, things sort of cram together and we can't do a lot of late work, but if you did not get the synthesis paper in, for example, or if you have sort of fallen off in the last couple of weeks because you're an essential worker or you've got family who is in a area of the country that is more impacted by coronavirus than we are at this point in Kansas, please let me know. I want to work with you. If you are considering withdrawing from the course because things have just gotten crazy, I would encourage you to talk to me first so we can see if we can make things work. But if it's just not working out for you, please keep in mind that the last date to withdraw from 16-week classes, which ours would count as, is April 17th, so coming up this week. If you have questions about that, please talk to me, and if you decide that you need to withdraw, I will give you the information on how to do that. All right, so again, I genuinely appreciate your feedback. It helps me to improve the course both for you and for future students. So if you have any additional commentary as we move forward, please just let me know. We will end the semester with a sort of overarching how did the course go, what could be better. So please feel free to reach out to me at any point if you have questions or comments. All right. Have a good week, and I will talk to you via feedback on discussion boards, quizzes, and your synthesis paper, which you should expect to see feedback on by the end of this week at the latest. All right. Have a good night.